it's how you react in the back of that cabin that's really important. Imagine this, if you will. The pilot comes and says to the flight attendant, look, we've got a problem up here. We're going to have to land this thing, probably no landing gear. It's going to be a rough landing. Okay? We're going to prepare the passenger for this, right? So if they go to the back and go, we have got a huge problem. I think we're going to die. How do you think that cabin is going to spin up?
Guys.
Welcome to Own the Jet by Aspen Aero Group, where we share perspectives from some of the leading voices in private jet ownership and business aviation. I'm your host, Derek Savage, along with my co-host, Jason Spoor, president of Aspen Aero Group. Our guest today is Brian Hayvaz, VP of Operations at Aircare International. Brian develops and delivers training courses that have become the gold standard for emergency procedures, telemedicine, and cabin safety for the business aviation community. Join us as we dive deep into the mechanics, mindset, and moments that define jet ownership. And together, we'll learn what it takes to own the jet. All right, welcome to a very special episode of Own the Jet. We're actually on location here in Van Nuys, California at Clay Lacy Aviation. So just a heads up, if you hear any jets moving around in the background, this one looks awesome, by the way, for everyone watching us on the video version of this. Yeah. That's why. Joining us today is Brian Hayvaz, the Director of Operations, is that right?
Correct.
For Aircare International.
That's us.
Awesome. And Brian, just the quick overview, what does Aircare do?
So Aircare, we're a business aviation services company. We have kind of three main product service groups, if you will. We have a telemedicine group, so we'll give emergency and non-emergency help, medical help to crews and passengers on the jet. We have a staffing arm as well, so we'll staff pilots and flight attendants on corporate jets. And then my main gig is I'm the head of FACS training, and which is an emergency procedures training organization.
So FACS. What does it stand for something?
Well, yeah, I'm like, is that an acronym?
FACS. It's FACS training. It's factual.
So it used to.
Okay. It doesn't anymore.
In the old days,
We just have no opinions. We just do only in facts.
It was FACCTS.
Okay.
And it was flight attendant, cabin crew, or cockpit crew training seminars, I think is what it was. It got shortened to FACS, and now we're just known as FACS training. Everybody knows we've been doing this for several decades.
Yes, you have.
And so it's kind of known as FACS training. I'm the FACS training guy.
And I have been through that training. I have been with you.
Yes.
And in the simulator, and
Well, that's what makes us special.
Come to my voice. Come to my voice.
That's our goal there, is to try to make it so that's as bad as it gets for you. Is if I can put you on that simulator and do really bad things.
Okay, so let's back up. Why are we in a simulator? What are we training? What's the situation here?
That's the question.
What are we doing?
So it's all anything that you can think of bad happening on a jet. This is all emergency procedures training. There's a part of it that's a required piece. There's a part that's not a required piece that people do anyway because they want to be safe. But we run the gamut of everything from certainly medical emergencies, firefighting, depressurization problems, ditchings, running off the runway, anything you can think of going wrong. And that's what we train to.
So let's talk about one specifically. Let's talk about running off the end of the runway. Maybe a little fire. So we got smoke coming into the cabin.
Just a little fire.
Just a little fire.
There's no such thing as a little fire on an airplane, but just
right. So the worst thing that can happen as a pilot, the worst thing that can happen in an airplane, to me anyways, everybody's got a different thought, but is smoke.
Sure.
I can't get rid of smoke. I can't open my window and get rid of smoke. If I have a fire, I can hopefully get that fire out. So I can fight that, but I cannot fight smoke very easily.
It's hard. Yeah, you need protection for that. And let me tell you, so my background in this is I'm a former firefighter paramedic.
Yep.
And the pilots that I talk about this, they kind of echo that. It doesn't get much worse than that airplane catching on fire at altitude.
Yep, big problem.
When you take a fire safety class as a normal person, what do they tell you to do if your house catches on fire?
Run outside.
Right.
Can't do that.
Can't do that.
So you've got to be good. So we teach on the fire side of it, we teach aggression.
Yep.
I want you to be an aggressive firefighter. And I have countless stories of these people, flight crew going, there's a fire, but we're just going to leave it and we're going to try to get this thing on the ground. Let's just go on the ground. And it doesn't work.
Right.
Because a fire an unchecked, if it has everything it needs, oxygen, heat, fuel, it's going to double every 10 to 15 seconds.
That's right.
It doesn't take much to get that little fire to be a big one.
Yep.
So we run you through that kind of stuff.
And we saw that happen years ago with a Saudi Arabian airliner that just absolutely
Did not
melted
take
to the
long
ground.
for that thing to catch, and there's
Yep.
a handful of those that
Yep.
you've got to be, and we've learned a lot. We have great weapons when
Yep.
it comes to firefighting, but you've got to be trained to use them.
I love that you're talking in terms of aggression and weapons. Like, fire has to be killed.
It does.
We're going to shoot it with a cannon of
It's
water.
the firefighter in me that
Yeah.
does it. I'm very passionate about that part of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you think about a fire on an airplane, how do you normally see it? It's not like television where it's like, oh, there's a fire. I shall put it out.
Yes.
It's, oh, there's some smoke. Where did that come from?
It's happening outside of your
I don't
vision.
know. But where's it really coming from? Well, it might be the entertainment center behind
Yep.
the wall. I don't know.
Yep.
You got to go
Yep.
find it. You gotta
Exactly.
find it. So,
So-
that's one, practicing that kind of thing is really important.
Right. So, backing up some more, Aircare. Tell us about Aircare, how it started, where it came from, who is it?
Sure.
Where are you?
Why do we care so much?
Who are you? Who are you
I
guys?
very much care about this. Well, it's funny. I did the math. I didn't really want to, but I did the math, and I've been with the company over 25 years.
Well,
Okay.
well,
Didn't even realize that.
yeah.
It feels like
It's older than me.
yeah. And
Nice try.
but the company itself started back in the late 80s, and it was created by a guy named Dr. Bo Altman, who
Okay.
created this emergency procedures training course, took it around the country, did kind of small bits of it. It then grew,
Okay.
and it was taken on by somebody else for a number of years, and then about 15 years ago, we really expanded. Our new CEO, well, not new anymore, but he was.
You can
15
mention
years
his
ago.
name.
Yeah, Jeff Roberts, great
Guy.
Yeah,
Great
he is.
guy.
And he's the one that took this company to the next level.
Yep.
He surrounded himself with the right people.
Yep, for sure.
And
Oh, you were there.
I was not happy to be there. And
He's
we
like,
have
ever
this-
since he brought me on board, the company's been on an upward trajectory.
Yeah, he's going to love that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it just, and so we kind of grew the product groups, the service groups from
Yeah.
that, and they all tie together. You
Yeah.
know, we do the staffing thing. So we staff pilots and
Yep.
fighters,
Yeah, you do.
right?
You do.
Well, we have a vested interest in that because we know them. We develop relationships with these people because they come through our training.
Yeah,
That's kind
for
of
sure.
a requirement.
For sure.
So now we know them. It's like we know this person's
Yeah,
ready.
yeah.
We can trust them.
Yeah.
The telemedical side, again, that's one, my background as a paramedic, I take very seriously.
Yeah.
If you think about what happens on an airplane, the number one emergency is not fire, it's not running off the end of the runway, it's somebody having a problem.
Cardio.
It's
There was
heart
something.
attack,
Yeah.
stroke, seizure,
Right.
whatever.
So let's dive into that. Telemed.
Sure.
You and I were talking earlier, and of course, I've been a customer of Aircare through various different companies and been through the training, and on we go.
Sure.
In the beginning of my career, which is in the late '90s, we didn't have much of anything. We had a Band-Aid,
Yeah.
and a first aid kit. So somebody
We
hits.
hope you don't have a heart
We
attack
hope
on this plane.
if you do, it's not looking good.
Right.
We did not have this. This was not part of our vocabulary. We're pilots. We're not paramedics.
That's it.
And then as we go into the 2000s, we have these companies popping up. Hey, this and that. To let's go like in the past few years where we are with technology. And I won't bring up the word Tempest, but I did. So Tempest, and now Tempest is even outdated, which just totally surprises me. But talk about what you have now to save my life.
Sure, and it's all about, it's a couple of pieces to it. It's communication and diagnostics.
Okay.
When you're on the airplane and something happens, did you just eat some lasagna that didn't agree with you, or are you having a massive MI? Well, although we can't diagnose, we can get these things. We have a product called the MedWand that will
Yep.
simply go in and tell you all the vital signs almost immediately.
Yep.
It'll take an EKG. You put it on your chest.
This sounds like a Star Trek tricorder or something. Like, what is this?
this far from that.
That's 2030.
It's very close to that.
Yeah.
I'm expecting bones coming up to me and
Scanning me.
Well, it's so near that it's scary.
It is.
Okay.
And so now they take that information, and the pilot or the flight attendant will be the hands of the physician at that point. We hook them up to George Washington University Medical Center. in
Now
DC.
this is done. I'm gonna take this just for the audience. So this is done via connectivity. It's done via internet. So this machine is linked to our Wi-Fi system on the airplane.
It is.
So, Starlink or whoever, but Starlink obviously is adding a ton of speed, which is making this possible.
And it gives audio and video now.
It's
And so
amazing.
Now you
Truly
take
amazing.
the camera, and the doctor says, "I'd like to see. Maybe they had some medication there. I want to see their pupils. See if they're." We'll hold that right up, and you can tell. And the doctor will say, "Okay, now do this." And then guess what? The doctor says, "Well, I think we've got a medication problem in there, so I'm going to prescribe this." We've got it on the airplane. They can give an inhaled narcotic antagonist drug, or they can give an EpiPen. So many things we can.
Wait. So you have kind of like this kit, like next level first aid kit sort of thing on the airplane that then let me make sure I understand this, right? So something happens, you do the med, what was it, the med wand?
Med wand, yeah.
Okay, you do the med wand, do a little diagnostic thing with that. If it warrants calling a doctor, you get them on what's virtual, virtual call, like
It is.
like a Zoom call sort of thing.
Yeah.
So good Wi-Fi may save your life.
For sure.
Boy, that's true.
Plug for
And
Starlink.
they're gonna know what you have on board, and they're gonna say, give him a shot of what's in the purple vial, or whatever.
So we have our telemedicine operators that they get to first, and they kind of go, okay, make sure, and they can actually take charge of the equipment on the airplane. So the crew doesn't even have to do it.
Okay.
You don't have to be good, you just have to be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they do it, and they tell them exactly how to do it. Then they hook them to the dock, so it's a three-way call.
Okay.
And then they can diagnose. And
Nice.
let me give you where that will really come in handy.
Okay.
Let's say the doctor thinks it is a heart problem. This is something serious. So we can do things nowadays. We can reverse heart attacks, but you've got to get them help quickly.
Okay.
So you're flying over Wichita, you're heading to Teterboro.
This is
Okay.
cool. This is really cool.
So, well, we could land at the regional Wichita airport and go to the local hospital, or we know where all the heart and stroke centers are in the country, and instead of landing here, land here, and we'll have it ready for you. And they'll get them into the cath lab immediately. It works really well.
Wow. So it basically buys you time to get to the place that you really need to be. Is that
Well,
the idea?
it gets you. The main thing is getting them to that place quickly.
Yeah.
There are some things that they'll do. Medications, if we go on the heart theme, maybe they'll give some nitroglycerin. There's another medication they can give. Even some aspirin, believe it or not, is a great emergency drug.
Okay.
They can do some of those things, buying them that time, but then getting the doctors ready on the other end. Hey, we've got a patient coming in. They've already got the EKG. They know it's a left anterior descending coronary artery blockage.
Exactly.
Let's go.
That's what I would have said. And but again, coming from the pilot side, old days, we're diving and going to
Wherever you
Cornhusker.
just
Yeah,
get
we're
them off my airplane.
Right, just get them help. But in some cases, we're actually doing harm because we're taking them somewhere that could be rural and has nothing.
100%.
But with Aircare's system, we're diagnosing. They're talking to us. Hey, you guys need to go to Dallas and land here. They're already talking to the people in Dallas. They know we're coming. Everything's
Nice.
prepped. They go off the plane.
Yeah,
boom.
they'll have what's called an advanced life support team waiting, not the basic life support guys. They're
Right.
going to say, no, we need ALS there. All those things come into play, and it saves time.
Yeah.
Gets them the care they need.
Yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
incredible where we are today.
Yeah, it's between the diagnostic tools and the communication piece
Mm-hmm.
that we get right. It's a wonderful system that takes care of, like I said, the
Mm-hmm.
number one problem on aircraft. Is not the fires or ditching the airplanes. It's medical problems.
Is this pretty popular? Like, do most private jets have this stuff now, or is this just kind of a thing that?
That's a great question. I think many. I don't know if I'd say most. Probably most.
Yeah.
They're different versions, and everybody that's on an airplane has a doctor.
Okay.
Technology is changing so rapidly now that they'll call their doctor, which is nothing wrong with that too.
Right.
But their doctor's not going to know that if you're flying over Wichita, you want to go to slum care or whatever the hell.
That's right.
They're going to know your situation, but they're not going to know the overall kind of.
Exactly. So,
breadth of
but again,
where to go.
it's still about that communication.
Nice.
Yeah, the support is incredible. So,
Yeah, it's a great service.
along with medical, let's switch gears to one of the other hats that we wear in the pilot group is survival.
Sure.
That's part of the fax training, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You were nerding out with me. Like we have a dinner before we do these things the night before, and we were talking about like you're building your own flight simulators. You are creating your own situations where people are like going through all this stuff that they normally wouldn't even know how to react, and you're making those situations for them,
Well,
right?
that's we've been doing that for years. Is
Yeah.
because they're very specialized units.
Yeah.
So everything we have, some of them, not all, some are mobile, some are fixed base. We've got 6 different training centers around the country, and then some mobiles where I can. They're all on 3-point hydraulics, so I can make really bad things happen to you on the ground and let you experience these emergencies.
So that's the trailer you bring,
That's
right?
the big
so
trailer.
it's totally mobile, can go to any airport and train a group of pilots, flight attendants, etc.
And let me tell you, one of the bonuses of doing it that way is this is about emergency communication. And who do you need to communicate with? Person in the other seat, person in the back. You train together as a team. Fantastic.
Right.
That's what gets people. Because
Yeah.
if you think, what are you up front as a pilot? You want to know what's going on in the back.
Yes.
But maybe you can't go back and just take care of everything. You
Right.
need somebody to tell you what's going on. That communication super important. We teach that a lot.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the scenarios you train for specifically. Like how do you do this? How do you talking about the simulators, talking about the things like walk
So
me through it.
it's everything from if you take a fire scenario, one of the kind of things everybody's worried about nowadays are the lithium battery.
Oh yeah,
fires.
Yeah, big deal.
Okay.
Big deal.
Those things, and we are right in the middle of that.
I've seen videos of these things going off in cabins where it's just like it looks like insanity. It looks
It's
like
impressive.
Yeah.
Well, a normal fire, like a house fire, 800, 12,000 degrees in there somewhere. These things burn at 2,000 degrees.
Right.
So when they go, you've got a fire in your hands.
Yeah.
So we talk a lot about containment
Yep.
and how to extinguish.
Yep. And what do you have for containment?
We've got a product called the Aircare Fire Sock that is just about containment. You just put it in there. It's still going to do its thing. It has to.
Like you can't put the fire out. You just
It's
gotta
very
put it-
difficult. I'm not saying you can't.
You just gotta
Depends
throw it
on
in
when
a
you
bucket.
catch it, and there's a procedure. There's an
Okay.
Yep.
we teach all that, but
right.
I like to make sure that it's contained.
Yep.
somehow.
Yeah.
And once you get that containment, even if it does its thing, you're going to get some smoke.
Yep.
You're going to get some bad stuff, but it's not going to take your airplane out.
That's right.
Okay.
That's it.
And not just throw it in there, but put the gloves on first, right?
Oh,
because you're
it's
the
a whole
teacher, and I'm
procedure.
pretty sure I heard
You
put the
gotta
gloves
put
on
the
before
gloves
I
in.
grab.
And you
2,000.
don't want to be grabbing 2,000 degrees
Nah,
stuff. If
it's
it gets
just-
to that point,
Then we're calling you with the other machine
You
because
gotta-
my hands are burnt
Yeah, have
to
like
the
your elf
bone.
glove on, or what is it? The
Yeah,
Kevlar? Is
they
that what
are.
it
yeah,
is?
they do have those, but
Yeah.
you are going to fight the fire at that point. You're not going to be grabbing anything that's on fire.
And they do have the gloves that come with that kit.
Oh, sure, yeah,
Yeah,
and you
okay.
can, but I, can't teach that. You need to put that fire out. But the goal is, normally if somebody's on their laptop, they go, you know what? This thing's starting to smoke or smell weird or feel hot.
Yeah.
Put it in the containment,
Yeah.
and then you're fine.
So the people that go through this training, it's the pilot and it's the
Pilot, flight attendant,
Okay.
the engineer. Often the engineers will fly.
Okay.
And then one of my favorite, personally, we also do passengers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the passengers.
So if I own a jet and I want to be like, hey, I want to make sure that I can, jump into action if something happens, and I'm not just relying on everybody else.
Well, here's the scenario, right?
Okay.
So we go off the end of the runway.
Yeah.
Me and the other pilot incapacitated. We're gone. Passengers still alive.
Okay.
So the question is, okay, what do we do? How do we get out of here? Because they're gone. How do I open
So
that
like
door?
the plane's in the air or
No,
no?
no, no. We went off the end of the runway.
Oh, you're on- okay,
We're
okay.
on the ground,
You gotta
but we're dead. We're gone.
Okay,
Me
okay.
and Joe, we're gone.
Like maybe the front of the plane's damaged.
There you
and-
go.
Okay, yeah.
Which we saw just not too long ago with.
Sure, we did.
LaGuardia.
Well, that one too. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were-
Yeah. in
Were they at the
Florida.
fire truck? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, pilot's gone.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So you're relying on if you have a flight attendant, then the flight attendant's going to run that show and get
Yeah.
everybody off. But if you don't, which I don't know, 80% of our airplanes,
Still
no
too
flight
many of them.
attendants.
Too many of them don't have flight attendants in the back. It's
Yep.
one of the
And then
things
smoke
we
starts
fight hard.
coming in, and how do we get out of here?
Oh, wow.
So the executive.
That sounds terrifying.
It
knowing that
is.
could be
It
the case.
is.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys don't think about it because it just doesn't happen. But when it does, they're going to wish that they knew exactly what to do. And so what we do as our company, our executives go through that program.
They do.
And they understand exactly what's going to happen.
Well, it's just something simple as, do they know how to open the overwing exit?
Right. Exactly.
Most of them don't.
Don't.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
And,
yeah.
and you
Yeah.
get passengers, and why are they doing it? They're not doing it to make a buck. They're doing it because they want to be safe. They're taking their family on these trips.
Yeah.
They want to be safe, so they care. And it's great for the crew because they have another crew member.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, a decently trained crew member. We spend a half a day with a passenger. I can turn them into a pretty good crew member.
Yeah,
You
that's
know, They
good.
won't know everything, but they can be helpful.
Nice.
For sure.
Yeah, and so we do that with all the different types of emergencies, and I try to make it as bad as I can in that situation.
Yeah. How do you test them? How do you?
So,
what do you put them through?
Because it's procedural, but there's no real one way to make this happen.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
my goal is you have to get through this scenario. Your goal, get out.
Yeah.
You got to get everybody out of the.
Because you're not just in a classroom like telling.
No,
them
we spend this much time in the classroom saying, here's what we're going to do. And then
Yeah.
we go and we play. And we
Okay.
get on the toys and we give them all this stuff. This is what you remember.
Yeah.
And one interesting one is these people come back over and over
Yeah.
to take this class.
Yeah.
And one of the cool things that we get to do is going through the class once, you're pretty good. Going through it twice, you're going to get better.
Yeah.
But once you do it a few times, I think you can become really proficient. So then our goal is how can I rattle them now? They know the ditching really well. They know the smoke fills up. So I can do these different types of emergencies. And what it does, gives them confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to give them confidence
Yeah.
to act correctly in an emergency.
Yeah, it's amazing. And again, you see us as pilots walking around, and we can fly an airplane, we can do this, we can propel at 500 miles an hour at crazy altitudes. But on top of that, most of us, if not all of us, have that training. And if you hit the deck, I guarantee you, I'm going to have your shirt off, and things are going to be getting serious if you're going to, and that training is so valuable.
It is. And, it's one of the reasons to do it as well is how people react in an emergency.
Yeah.
People are all over the map. And
Right.
again, from my days on the fire service, I witnessed like car accidents and things. Most people think, if something bad happens, I'm going to be really good at this. And what I found is they're just not. And they're only good at it.
And that's what it is. It's like I think if like a fire were to break out right now, I'd know exactly what to do. But like you're telling us,
You just
Not necessarily.
They don't know. They don't know what to do, and you've got to draw on something.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, I remember. And I have so many stories of both pilots and flight attendants coming back and saying, we had this kind of minor thing, but we did have to do an emergency landing, and I remembered everything.
Yeah.
And they're so proud because everything runs smoothly. It's not pandemonium. It's how you react in the back of that cabin that's really important. Imagine this, if you will. The pilot comes and says to the flight attendant, look, we've got a problem up here. We're going to have to land this thing, probably no landing gear. It's going to be a rough landing. Okay? We're going to prepare the passengers for this, right? So if they go to the back and go, we have got a huge problem. I think we're going to die. How do you think that cabin is going to spin up?
Screwed, guys.
Versus,
I
they
don't
know
know
what
what
they're
guy
doing.
can to, but
They know what they're doing.
Running up and down, I don't know what to do.
Right. But they're calm. The pilot said, here's what we're going to do. And they go, okay, well, here's the thing. We've got 4 minutes. We're going to give you a 2-minute signal, 10-second signal. I'm going to teach you your brace position. Now everybody get your,
Yep.
bam.
Boom, done.
You got it. And that's that.
People walk
confidence
away.
It's really important.
yeah.
that's crazy. But I mean, the whole idea though is you have to put them through it so they're familiar with it. So when it does happen, if it does happen, let's hope it doesn't, but they'll know.
It'll feel familiar.
That's the specialty of FACS training.
Yeah.
It's an experiential version of training.
Yeah.
So they remember this. It's I would love to take credit. It's a group effort, but I write a lot of the programs.
Okay.
And I think they're pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what? Not our strength.
Yeah.
Our strength is sure our equipment. That's number 2, but our number 1 strength is our instructors. These people are professionals. They care about what they do. They've been doing it a long time, and they're super passionate.
Yeah.
And the CEO and I read every single evaluation that comes back, and often it's humbling.
Yeah.
Because they heap praise on FACS training, but it's
Yeah.
all about, I can't believe that Blaine and Nancy and Lauren and Jim and all these people were so good at doing this. And it keeps them coming back, and it
Right.
gives them that confidence I want.
Yeah.
How long would it take to go through a training if I wanted to go through one?
So there are several versions.
Okay.
There's 1, 2, and 3 days.
Okay.
And the 1 day for pilots.
Well, that's not crazy. I was thinking like this would be like a 2-week boot camp or
It's,
something.
I would love to have you for 2 weeks doing it, but we just can't.
Okay.
Right? Can't do it. So the 3-day is really complete.
Yeah.
The one day is what I can get pilots for, and I just want to give pilots the 5 things they need. And that's that firefighting. I get you hypoxic for real. I'll put you on a hypoxia machine.
Now, explain to me, the layperson, what hypoxic means.
So you have a depressurization problem on the aircraft.
Okay.
And you become hypoxic, and eventually you're going to pass out. And the pilots.
You know what would be awesome if you would have had that machine.
And we did it to him. Oh yeah.
Oh man!
But it's basically like the blood oxygen, right? Is that
You
is
got
that
it.
this?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a reduced oxygen breathing device, if you will. So we'll
Okay.
put you on this thing, and I can simulate altitudes up to about 35,000 feet.
Okay.
And at 35,000 feet, you don't have a lot of time before you start getting loopy.
Okay.
And what I want you to do is I want you to experience your symptoms.
Okay.
Right.
Everybody's symptoms are a little bit different.
Yep.
You've been probably through a chamber, I
Yep, yep,
assume.
yep.
You have a set of symptoms.
Okay.
Everybody's a little bit different.
Yep.
And sometimes people get happy or sad or angry, or they get air hunger, all these different symptoms. I want you to
It's a lot of fun.
recognize that,
Yeah.
right? And then if
good.
you go, you know what? I get this weird ringing in my ears. I wonder, I better check. And then they find out what's going on.
Crazy. So if I wanted to go through one of these trainings, if I wanted to sign up for the FACTS training, or even if I wanted to engage with you guys on some of the other stuff you do, what's the best way to reach out?
Well, we've got a great team. Our website, aircareinternational.com, is a great way to start.
Okay.
Our head of sales is Jake Painey, who
Okay.
is a master at this stuff.
Great guy, Jake.
Yeah, he's the man.
Okay.
And so he will take everybody through the gamut of that. But once you get in the machine, we've got some really helpful people that will go, what is it you exactly need? And we deal with this every day. I'm a former commercial flight attendant and I want to get into this, or I'm a pilot out of date. What do I need to do?
Yeah.
And we walk them through exactly
Awesome.
what they need.
Yeah, it's something that I never considered that I would need if I were, in that situation. But after hearing all the potential kind of like things that could happen, it's like, yeah, it's probably worth a day or two to, go through the training and
Sure.
get this figured out, because it could mean everything, right?
Yeah.
And the neat thing is we do it in conjunction with the flight training. So the pilots
Yeah.
will go get their flight training. We're in the same center
Yeah.
at CAE and these places.
There you go.
And we can do it at the same time.
One-stop shop.
It
It
is.
is.
All right, we'll put the link in the description below then to reach out and talk to Jake and get started.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you,
Thank
Brian,
you.
for
Yeah.
showing up and
Love it.
doing Own the Jet with us here at beautiful Clay Lacey in Van Nuys, California.
Love
Yeah.
it.
And join us next time where we will learn more about what it takes to own the jet.
Thank you for watching Own the Jet. If you want to see more Own the Jet, make sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube and leave a comment telling us what aspect of jet ownership you'd like to know more about. Own the Jet is brought to you by Aspen Aero Group, your trusted partner in private and corporate jet ownership. Learn more at aspenaerogroup.com. This has been a Savage Media production.